Hey, you're listening to the wrong podcast. Topics today include LOL, ASAP, and SMH.
Wrong!
It's the wrong podcast, but we'll make it right. Spinning the world in a whole new light. Winning wild and a little askew. And the one who's right, it might be you.
I am Tim. I'm here to talk about politics, culture, religion, sports, and anything else you're not allowed to talk about in polite company. Issue number 1. Coldplay. You've probably seen it by now. If not, I'm going to just update you real quick. The CEO of a tech company called Astronomer was at a Coldplay concert, and the crowd cam, the kiss cam, you know, they show people having fun at the concert. He appeared on that camera, and he was, what's the word? Canoodling with the HR director of his company. And the only problem with this is that he's a married man and he's not married to the HR director of Astronomer. And the camera goes on them. He immediately recognized that he will be recognized. She recognizes that they will be recognized. And they both act extremely embarrassed and try to hide from the camera. And this is a meme storm. This is a meme field. This is some other meme pun that I can't come up with in the moment. But people are loving this. They are loving it. You need to see the video. I'm not going to post the video. You've probably seen the video. You could find it easily. People are recreating this. They're creating memes with other people caught in embarrassing situations. The funniest one I think I saw was Dwight from The Office holding Pam from The Office in a similar embrace. And what struck me about this was just the facial expression on Pam, because she had a horrified look on her face. And that is exactly how Pam would feel if she was caught canoodling with Dwight. It reminded me of the episode where she found out that her mother was dating Michael, and one of the best episodes ever. One of the best acting performances ever in that entire series.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I feel like a real Puerto Rican.
Michael, you're all set about Botticelli's. I changed the reservation to 2 people.
Here, look.
Fun!
Yeah.
Wow, Botticelli's, that sounds like a special occasion.
Yeah, no, it's nobody.
I don't know. I think Michael has a date.
No.
Yeah, I think you have a date.
I don't.
Come on.
I think we should just drop it. Because obviously he doesn't want to talk about it.
I don't deserve this, guys.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Just take the parrot. Okay. Back to the old grind.
I was probably going to break up with her anyway.
Oh,
Don't.
that's too bad.
Pam, it is very complicated. There are a lot of moving parts here.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really like this person, then you should see where it goes.
You want me to be happy?
Of course.
Part of the problem is she is the mother of a close friend of mine.
Oh.
More than a friend. A coworker.
Oh. Gossip. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it, Michael? Who?
It's okay.
No. No. Oh my God! Oh my God! No!
That could have gone one of 2 ways, but I never expected her to get upset.
The reason I think that this has set the internet on fire is because everybody identifies with it. It hates on all the things that all of us hate on. It's a common enemy, and everybody can just get behind it. You have a billionaire he's not a billionaire. He's a 100 millionaire. He's worth like 120, 140 million dollars. Or should I say was worth 120, 140 million dollars. That all got cut in half because his soon-to-be ex-wife is going to get half of that. And this strikes me as the most expensive Coldplay tickets ever. But we're not super enthusiastic about tech millionaires. We hate in general. Thank goodness we're in general hateful of adultery. We don't like it. We don't like HR. We don't like human resources. And what's funny about all of this is that the woman in charge of human resources, the woman in charge of making sure that there's no on the clock relationships ruining the company, she actually just ruined the company. And Coldplay. For whatever reason, we're not all big fans of Coldplay. And some of the jokes are not that he got caught cheating on his wife, but that he got caught buying tickets to a Coldplay concert in 2025. Big to do about this. It's funny to me. The video is funny. Oh, we love we hate injustice. We hate the injustice of adultery. That this was happening behind his wife's back. Apparently, I don't know if it's true, but she immediately changed her Facebook profile to her maiden name. I don't know if that's true. There's all kinds of false stuff going on in the internet. But the fact that he was cheating, not false. He's since resigned from the company. And I'm with it. I think it's funny. I think the memes are funny. And I think my friend Melanie put her finger on this correctly. We love the injustice. We love seeing somebody getting caught and having justice done to them. What's not cool is the destruction that this does for generations of a family. There's a divorce coming, I'm guessing, and that is havoc on everybody, not just for these kids, but for their kids. And this is a meme that's not going to die. The baseball stadiums, they're already doing Coldplay cam instead of kiss cam. And instead of showing two people kissing, they find two people canoodling in the same way that this couple was. And then when they get caught on camera, they reenact the whole scene to everyone's laughter. Can you imagine being this man's ex-wife? Can you imagine being his children? And you can't go to a baseball game now. You can't turn on the internet without somebody laughing at the destruction that's been wrought on your family. It's not fair to them that this is a meme that lives forever now. This very hurtful thing. So yes, I'm laughing at it with everybody else, and it's a little bit gross, and I hope that everybody can heal from it sooner than the memes are going to allow them to heal from it. Issue number 2. Footloose. You didn't know this, but I have been fighting a battle with the TSA for almost 2 decades now. I have worked tirelessly, and I have finally won. My favorite thing in the entire world is to defeat a government bureaucracy and get what I want out of the situation, and I have finally beaten the TSA. Let's back up a little bit here. Insert backup noise. I don't have sound effects, sorry. If you expect me to make that noise, well, that's just silly. So this guy, Richard Reed, after 9/11, he decides he's going to bomb an airplane in the name of Islam, and he puts a bomb in his shoe and then gets on an airplane and tries to detonate it and blow up this plane in midair. And my friend Monique, side note, my friend Monique was actually on this flight. She lived because Richard Reed failed. And the reason he failed is because his feet were so sweaty. He was so sweaty because he was so nervous that he couldn't light the wick on this shoe bomb. And I've never seen a photo of this shoe bomb. I think they kind of kept that under wraps so that nobody got an idea on how to make a better shoe bomb. If you have a shoe bomb photo, do not send it to me because I don't want the FBI knocking on my door. That's up to you. Maybe draw me a picture and show me in person. So the shoe bomb doesn't work, and the TSA, the airline security, the government agency, they're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. we're going to start making people take their shoes off randomly. And if you're not willing to take your shoes off, then we'll scan you with the little wand thing. And if you think I'm about to make the sound effects of that little wand thing, you are wrong. I'm not going to do that. That's silly. Why would I do that? So the little wand thing, you're making the noise right now. I know it. I made you make that noise in your head. Somebody's waving it, and yep, you made the noise. They wand you over and let you go on your happy way. And then the TSA did the strangest thing in the world. They came out and said, hey, everybody, we want you to know that putting your shoes through the X-ray machine, it does nothing. It doesn't tell us a thing. And we're going to make you all do it from now on. Everybody, granny, person who just had knee surgery, it doesn't matter. Everybody's taking their shoes off and throwing them through the X-ray machine so we can get zero information about the shoes and whether or not there's a bomb in there. And this seemed nuts to me. So I wrote this angry letter, this angry email, mostly to be funny, but I meant it to some degree, about how dumb this was. And I sent it to everybody I knew. And I sent it to some DJs at a local radio station here in the Los Angeles area called K-Rock. And they picked it up. They liked what I had to say, and they invited me on the show. So I'm going to play a clip from... Oh, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because the TSA has finally just said that nobody has to take their shoes off anymore. I'm the winner. I won. I said I wasn't going to put up with this, and they finally agreed with me that this is not going to happen anymore. And also they're talking about increasing how many ounces of liquid you can bring on the airplane. Hooray for everybody. We can bring a full tube of toothpaste now. Maybe someday, I hope. I know you're expecting me to make that sound effect of toothpaste coming out of a tube, but that's just silly. Why would I do that? So back to 18, 19 years ago, I wrote this email saying how dumb it was, and K-Rock had me on the radio to talk about it. And I'm going to play the clip for you now. Let me just tell you what I had to do to get this clip. They weren't producing a podcast at the time. I couldn't just download the audio and clip it. No, I actually had to record this off the radio onto a cassette tape. The way we used to make mixtapes, where you'd call in the radio station and say, hey, could you play, I don't know, Loverboy or whatever? I don't know why that's the song that came to mind, but you'd play that so you could record it on your own little tape. And that's what I had to do to record this segment on K-Rock. And then I had to plug the stereo I had to buy a special cord to plug the stereo into the mic jack of my computer so I could get an MP3. I could get a digital file of this interview. And that's all just so wacky now because it's so much easier to do. Anyways, that's what I did for you. I saved this file. I've had it for 18 or 19 years. Finally, I've won. I'm going to play it for you right now. But wait, there's one more thing I need to mention, and that is we've had a pandemic since all of this, and that is going to flavor what you hear in a much different way than I would ever say it right now. I'm just going to cop to that right now. And the other thing, I'm going to play it right now. I'm going to play it, but there's one more thing. The lovely Wendy. She's a little uncomfortable with the Rosa Parks, the way I mentioned Rosa Parks. So you just need to give her credit. She says that's not okay. I think it's okay. All right. So here's the audio from K-Rock.
This is K-Rock 106.7 KROQ. It is the Kevin and Bean Show at 11 minutes after 7 o'clock.
And we got on the way, we got Nine Inch Nails, The Killers, Pearl Jam, Rockin' Tours, and more tickets for K-Rock's Inland Invasion 2006. So stick around for that. You know, this is Bean speaking, and I'm usually the guy who writes the strongly worded letters. Mm-hmm. But I got one in my email the other day, a strongly worded letter from a listener who is taking a stand against the TSA and their security procedures at the airport. So we invited Tim, because we could tell how passionate he was about a topic that affects so many of us. We invited Tim to join us on the air, and he's on the line with us right now. Hey, Tim, welcome to K-Rock.
Guys, are we living in a bizarre world or what?
We are, and I would like you to tell everybody what this is about, because the word may not have gotten out to everyone just exactly how thorough and how great the search is on your shoes when you put them through the X-ray machine.
Well, this week, TSA announced that putting your shoes through the X-ray machine tells them absolutely nothing.
And if it had a bomb in your shoe, it could not see it.
Absolutely not.
Now, Tim, they've been asking many of us to take shoes off on many trips over the past few years because of metal in the shoes. Like women's high heels, for instance, may have metal in it because they're afraid somebody's going to try to smuggle a gun or a knife in, right?
Sure, and that kind of makes sense to me, but flip-flops?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what makes me even a little bit crazier is that they announce it tells them nothing, and they're going to keep asking us to do it.
Well, now, what if you had, gel things in your tennis shoes or something?
Well, the X-ray machine would tell them absolutely nothing.
But you could look in the shoes and see that.
Yeah, right, exactly. But they don't want you to give them your shoes. They don't look at your shoes. They do put them through the X-ray machine, and then for them to come out and say, A, it doesn't work, and B, we're going to keep doing it.
And this is new. This is a new rule that went into effect at the same time they said no liquids and gels too, right? I mean, you're not talking about the way it's been for 5 years. You're talking about the new policy where every shoe, no matter how plastic it is, has to go through the machine, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're taking a stand, and you in your email tell us that you are no longer going to play this silly game. You're going to go to the airport. They're going to tell you to take off your shoes, and you're going to look them in the eye and say no.
Exactly. And listen, I'm no Rosa Parks. But, she gives us a good example here about how people only have as much power over us as we give them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll say...
Tim, if you were Rosa Parks, you'd be on the bus anyway. You wouldn't even be going to the airport, so it wouldn't even matter.
Well, it's a new day and age.
Yeah.
Bus is over. They'll say, take your shoes off to go through the metal detector, and I'll say no, and they'll say, well, if you don't, we're going to search you. And I'm going to say, great, search me, because I know the little wand doesn't hurt me, and I've got nothing to hide.
Right.
And if they really think my shoes are an issue, they need to do something real to check them out.
Something other than put them through an X-ray machine that doesn't work, you mean?
Exactly.
But that gives us the impression that we're safe.
Yeah, and I don't understand how making long lines makes everybody feel safe. Right. I mean, everybody in traffic right now is in a long line. Do you feel safe?
And it only gives you the impression that you're safe unless you read the paper or listen to the news, because then you realize it's not. Now, Tim, I'm sure you've thought this through. Well, first of all, you haven't flown since you started your new policy. You haven't tested out your new policy yet, right?
No, not yet. But my wife is on a business trip, so I'm hoping that she goes along and makes it a family decision.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
When do you plan on flying next?
I actually am not flying until Thanksgiving, I believe.
I could make that promise if I'm not going to fly.
Yeah, no, I'm only going to fly naked from now on as long as I don't have to do it.
I'm not even going to put my carry-ons through. How about that?
I'm going to bring a bomb out of the plane. How do you like me now?
Now, Ralph, thanks. We just got tagged. Now the NSA is going to be talking to us, Bean.
Yeah, I'd like to make it clear that I did not say that.
Right, that was Bean.
Neither did I. That was clearly
That was
right.
Bean. Okay, here's the thing. We were talking about this in the office yesterday, and Ralph, who has the worst luck flying, the first thing that came out of his mouth was, I'm going to be the one behind this a-hole who's going to sit there and take his stand and not take off his shoes, and I'm in a hurry to get to my plane, and he's going to be standing there fighting over his shoes, and I might have to hit him in the head.
Well, when I've done this before, and I've seen other people do it, and when they search you, they put you in a different line. They move you aside.
Right.
So the people who want to be sheep and take off their shoes for no good reason will still get through just as well.
Right.
But part of the reason for this is to cause a little bit of trouble for them. Because
because they don't have enough problems, that's why?
Well, they do have enough problems, exactly, and they need to be focusing on those problems, not these made-up ones.
I understand where Tim's coming from, and I don't think most people would go to that.
And maybe it will focus a little bit more attention on the fact that, from what I read, in Japan, they actually do have machines that can detect bomb-making equipment, and we don't have those. And why don't we?
Because they're expensive. That's why. They take a long time to get into how many airports we have. And we have a lot more airports than they do in Japan.
Tim, you're suggesting that everybody do this, and you say if only 10% do it, maybe they'll change their policy. But I'd like to suggest to you that these guys are supposed to be there looking for something that is a threat to the plane. And if you and 10% of the people start doing this, then they're going to be spending their time wanding people that aren't dangerous. And that'll take them away from actually, I don't know, searching for bombs and stuff.
Well, and eventually that will, exactly, and that will get them to think about the shoe policy, and they'll get rid of it entirely, and they'll have a ton more time to look for real threats, rather than telling every 4-year-old with light-up sneakers to take them off.
Dude, you don't know where those lights.
Right.
You don't know what those lights are capable of.
You know, the bigger concern I have is I heard on the news this morning that women who put those gel implants in their bras, to make their boobs look bigger,
right?
They can't go through. They can't wear those on planes anymore. They have to take those off. Well, you know what I mean. Now you're starting to hurt me.
No,
Tim
that's
can worry
good.
about shoes all he wants, but I just let the women go in bountiful. That's what I say.
But that's false advertising. That's what I'm saying.
How are they going to know if you're wearing those? Seriously.
I don't know. Hey, those don't look real. Wait a minute.
Did you guys see the woman in Israel who had breast implants and a missile hit near her and shrapnel went toward her and it stopped? Her breast implants stopped the shrapnel from getting to her heart. Saved her life.
Saved her life.
Kidding.
That's why everybody should get breast implants. And
that is the lesson of today. Boy, did we forget about Tim and Hurry.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me just talk to Jeff real quick in Garden Grove. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Rosa Parks, you're an idiot. I know we got to do these things. It's a different kind of world. We got to stand in lines, but it's you that, you're going to make a stand. Whoa, big deal. Hey, look at me. Great. I get stuck behind you like Ralph. You do need to be slapped upside the head. Sure. I'm sorry. Your civil rights are being violated. Excuse us.
Well, Jeff, if it actually served a purpose.
I don't think he said his civil rights were being violated. I think he said it was a waste of time.
Exactly. I don't think this is a civil rights violation at all. And honestly, this should be the least important thing I do in my entire life. Because it's not that big of a deal, I agree. But it's just dumb. It's dumb to say it doesn't work, and we're going to make you still do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. Keep doing it.
It's government at work.
Don't make an announcement like that, at least. At least pretend, make up some false reason for it.
At least lie to us and tell us it works. Exactly.
We do like to be lied to at times. And this might be one of them.
I would prefer it in this situation.
All right, Tim. Well, listen, thanks for the email. Thanks for coming on K-Rock with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, guys.
And call us back after you fly.
Can I call you when I'm in jail?
Yes, please.
No, you can't do
Won't
that.
do any good, but go ahead.
So you're probably asking yourself, okay, Tim, what happened? What happened? You said you're not going to take your shoes off, but it's been almost 20 years. There's no way you didn't take your shoes off. Let me tell you what I did. I went up to the airport. I went right up to the security. They said, take your shoes off, sir. And I said, I don't want to. Could you give me the wand or could you pull me aside? And the security official, nice individual, nice man, he said, well, if you don't want to take your shoes off, you can turn around and walk right outside the airport because you are not walking past here without taking your shoes off at this airport or any other airport in the country. And so I gave in. I gave in for the long game because I knew eventually I would win this battle. I would win it by taking my shoes off over and over and over again over nearly 2 decades so that eventually I could prove to them that this was doing jack squat. And today I am the winner. I am the victor. You're welcome, everybody. I did it. Hey, it's time. What are the rules?
Oh, what are the rules? What are the rules? Don't touch my fries or my garden tools. Oh, what are the rules? Yeah, I've got my quirks. Follow them closely and I promise it works.
We have an idiom here in the United States. We say there's no such thing as a free lunch. And the problem with saying that there's no such thing as a free lunch is you kind of need somebody to explain it to you the first time you hear it. There's no such thing as a free lunch because they actually want something from you eventually. Nobody's going to give you a free lunch without asking you for something at some other point. Speaking of which, I had lunch with a friend today and he paid. I didn't think about that. I got a free lunch. Dang it. Well, in Ukraine, they have a different phrase. Somebody was saying there's no such thing as a free lunch to Ukrainian journalists, and they said, what's that mean? And the English speaker said, well, it means this, this, this. Tim's screwed because he got a free lunch today with a friend. And the Ukrainian said, oh, in our language, we say, the only free truth. Oh, man, I botched that. Let me try that again. The only free cheese is in the mousetrap. That is such a better phrase. That is so much better than there's no such thing as a free lunch. It tells you right there that there's a trap with the free cheese. Free cheese, by the way. I like the sound of that. But anyways, that's the phrase we should use from now on, forever. Everybody, stop saying there's no such thing as a free lunch. Start saying the only free cheese is in the mousetrap. That's the rule. Remember, I want to know what's wrong with you. What's wrong with you? If you'd like to submit a question, topic, or tell me how I was wrong, you can email me at listen@therewrongpodcast.com or submit a comment at my website, The Wrong Podcast, and help me spread the wrong message. If you like what you hear, share with your friends. Now it's time for my favorite part of the show. I was wrong.
I was wrong. Oh, I was wrong.
Hello, this is listener Brent, and just wanted to say that I really enjoyed Tim's last podcast with Karen. Really enjoyed the conversation, brought up a lot of really good points, and made me think of wanting to dive in deeper. So thanks.
Listener Eric writes in and he says,
how'd you get Karen Swallow Pryor? That was awesome.
Thank you, Eric. It turns out I asked nicely. And I should follow up and say that Karen enjoyed the conversation so much, she wrote an article about it for the Dispatch. And I will include a link to Karen's article here. She fleshed it out. She fleshed out the conversation. She didn't flush it out. She fleshed out the conversation more, brought in some more details, some more examples. So if you were interested in more of what Karen had to say, I would direct you to my website to get that link to the Dispatch. Listener Matt writes in, and he says,
great interview with Karen Swallow Pryor. I have been following her on social media for years. I think she replaces the lovely Wendy and Randy as the biggest celebrity you have had on the show.
Hey, Matt, why don't you pour yourself a nice tall glass of
Whoa, Randy. Take it easy. That's not that kind of show. How many times do I have to tell you? And who invited Randy back on the show? I blame Matt. Issue number 3. Didn't kill himself. Well, the most important topic in American culture and politics right now is about Jeffrey Epstein. Again, we're still talking about this guy, and it has become a much bigger story. And it's become a big story because of Donald Trump. Let me just give you a reminder of who Jeffrey Epstein is, a short recap, if you will. Jeffrey Epstein was a financier, and he became a very rich man. He owned the most expensive apartment in Manhattan, and nobody's exactly sure how he earned all his money. But we might have some ideas because he bought an island in the Caribbean and staffed it with young teenage girls who were there to, I guess the best way to put it is to be raped by rich, powerful men. He was eventually arrested and tried for this, and while he was awaiting his trial, I don't believe he was actually convicted, but he died in jail, and that was mysterious. He died while Donald Trump was president, and I should throw in that he and Donald Trump were best friends for many years. They were BFFs. Jeffrey Epstein played a role in introducing Donald to Melania, and Donald had many nice things to say about Epstein, including that he liked his women on the younger side, which is a weird, gross thing to say if you know that they're teenage girls. You really should not be bragging about that. You should be calling the cops. But Donald remained his friend for quite a while until Epstein and his romantic partner slash what's the word for a woman who runs a brothel? Madam. The madam of Gross Island they were trolling Mar-a-Lago for young teenage girls. And actually, I believe one of the victims who was victimized by Prince Andrew of England, of the United Kingdom, was found at Mar-a-Lago. So what's been going on with Trump supporters for many, many years is this idea that child sex trafficking is run rampant and that the rich and powerful are kidnapping girls and exploiting them, and this needs to stop, and that there's this two-tier justice system that is protecting the rich and powerful. And through Jeffrey Epstein, this is all going to stop. If we can just get our hands on all the files and all the people he was blackmailing, we will know who was involved. And this has been a very, very, very... Should I add 2 more veries? I think I will, yes. Very, very important topic for Donald Trump supporters. It's one of the most important issues politically for them. And there is all kinds of evidence for this. I could find all kinds of clips of Donald Trump's fiercest supporters talking about how the Epstein list needs to be released and that how the government needs to stop protecting all the rich and powerful people involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Here's one from Don Jr.
Show us all the Epstein client list now! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Why would anyone protect those scumbags? Ask yourselves this question daily. The answer becomes very apparent.
Okay, that wasn't actually Don's voice. Sorry, I should have clarified that before playing it. That was a tweet he sent out. This is Pam Bondi. In 2024, Pam Bondi is now the Attorney General of the United States of America. Here she is on TV explaining what should be happening with the Epstein client list.
First of all, it should have come out a long time ago. Professor Dershowitz wanted it out. And by the way, he is one of the best attorneys in this country. I know him. I know his wife. That's a great family, and they've been dragged through hell on this. I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
Okay, so now Pam Bondi is the Attorney General of the United States. She's made it clear in the past that the Attorney General has the absolute right and prerogative to release this list of sexual predators. And she sends out this private message to all these influencers, all these MAGA influencers, and says, hey, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, wants to meet with you. Can you all come to Washington, D.C. tomorrow? So they all get on planes right away. They all fly to Washington, D.C. to meet with the Vice President. Of course you would. Of course they did. They get there. They meet with the Vice President. And then Pam Bondi says, guess what? We have all the evidence. We don't have all the evidence. We've collected some of the evidence. This is phase 1 of the evidence about Jeffrey Epstein. And we've put it in these binders for you. They are yours. You get the first right of looking at this evidence. And these people are ecstatic. And then Pam Bondi says, let's all go outside so we can talk with somebody else. And as they go outside, there's all kinds of photographers waiting for them. And these people, they've got all the evidence, so they think, about Jeffrey Epstein in these binders. So they're showing off the binders to the photographers. And it turns out that there was nothing in the binders. Everything in the binders was already publicly available. There was no new evidence there. These guys have all been made dupes. This is what you would do to your enemies if you wanted to make them look foolish. And that's what Pam Bondi has done to Donald Trump's fiercest online supporters. So people are upset. Hey, when's the real list coming out? When's all the new information coming out? And somebody asked Pam Bondi this question: when are we going to get to see the Epstein list? And Pam Bondi says, the files are on my desk. Okay, great. Why don't you give us a list? It's been several months now since she said that. And then the White House, in an unsigned way, sent out a note saying, there is no list. There is no Epstein list. There's nothing. Move on. It wasn't from Pam Bondi. It wasn't from Kash Patel, the FBI director. It wasn't from Donald Trump. It was just an unsigned letter. Well, this makes everybody go nuts. What do you mean there's no list? Pam Bondi just said the list was on her desk. Then Donald Trump comes out and says, there is a list, but it was made up by the Democrats. They've been setting this whole thing up for all these years. They're the ones who are obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know why anybody is obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein. The Democrats did all this. In fact, here's what Donald Trump has to say in his own words.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that?
No, it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, he's spoken several other times and sent out other tweets about this thing. He's calling his own supporters stupid, weak fools for believing that this thing ever existed. And it's all over the place. It existed. It's the most important thing in the world we need to release, and it's sitting on the Attorney General's desk, but there actually is no list. But there is a list, but it was created by the Democrats and it's a hoax. And everybody who's ever believed in this it has been falling for a hoax that the Democrats have been promoting. I hope your head's spinning, because mine is. This is nuts. This is crazy. And it's not going away. That's the crazy thing about it. Donald Trump has this amazing ability to pivot away from stuff, to create a new distraction for people and to move on and ignore what he just said. It never happened. I didn't say that. No, I didn't. You're a fool for thinking I said that. He's Teflon Don. But this is sticking to him. And why do we care about this? Why is this so important to people? Well, the first reason it's important is because it's salacious. It's about sex. It's about rape. It's about young attractive girls. So of course it's got people's attention. The other reason that it's important is because it represents a two-tier justice system. People hate that rich people get away with stuff, and Jeffrey Epstein represents that. He represents that to so many people. And there's this idea that child sex trafficking will stop. It will stop, and Donald Trump is the man to make it stop. And this one is laughable. It's absurd because Donald Trump is a sexual assaulter. He is a sexual predator. He's been credibly accused and sued and found liable for raping a woman. And his sexual mores are not puritanical by any means. And the only way any of this gets any worse for Donald Trump, honestly, the only way that this whole story could get worse for him is if somebody released an audio recording of him bragging about how he sexually assaults women whenever he wants because he's rich and they never complain. That's the only way this could actually even get worse for Donald Trump. And what's been fascinating about this is that, first, it's the Trump people who've totally overplayed this story. And then, after overplaying it, after giving people what they wanted to hear over and over and over again, telling people, hey, this list is coming out, hey, there's no reason for the government to hide this, they've been promoting this message for the last, 6 to 8 years. They just expose themselves as liars. They're either hiding something that they know is incredibly damning to Donald Trump, or they're exposing themselves as people who overplay things for their constituents to get them all riled up and angry. It's like they're a kid walking up to a beehive and hitting it with a bat. And the bees want something because the kid's been hitting them with the bat. And the kid with the bat goes, why are you upset? There's nothing here. The Trump people have been feeding false information to their supporters for all of these years. And then the gaslighting. Donald Trump telling us that it's the Democrats who've been pushing this all along. It's just infuriating. Gaslighting is so infuriating. And I need to tell you that there's this trope in mythology of this character that's a fox. The fox is somebody who lies and cheats and steals and connives and gets away with it. And you love him because of how crafty he is. It's not just that he steals and lies. He's kind of a positive character because of his way of getting away with things, that you actually respect him. Donald Trump is that fox. And for some reason, he's not getting away with it on this one. That's what's weird. That's what's interesting to watch. His followers are totally willing to forgive him for anything. They're totally willing to forgive him for any pivot that he wants to make. He's talking about creating a guest worker situation for Mexican immigrants. They all say, great, that sounds wonderful. He's getting us involved in military action in Ukraine and in Iran. And they all say, okay, that's good with us. Whatever you want to do, Don. But this thing, not releasing the Epstein list, this is the thing that's making their blood boil. And hopefully they're paying attention. It looks like they are. He's calling them stupid, weak fools. His own people, not his enemies. He's telling them, I don't want your support anymore if you're interested in this. And the other thing about this is that it seems like he's protesting too much. This could have gone away if he would have just shut up. If they would have just sent out the note and said, there is no list, and didn't talk about it anymore, eventually something else would have come up. But Donald Trump keeps going on social media and keeps going on TV and talking about it and saying, move on, move on, move on. Really, there's nothing here. Stop talking about it. And that only makes the intrigue build all the more. And it's just been fascinating to watch that he can't pivot. My own view is that there probably is not a lot of evidence that's going to come out. It's probably true that there is no list. There's nothing there for them to give us. And they realize that now. The Trump administration realizes that all the evidence they have has already been put out there. There's nothing new. They don't have the jurisdiction to go down the Caribbean and collect all the evidence that might be there. And so they're stuck. They've been promising this thing, and now they don't have it to deliver. And eventually Pam Bondi is saying that she's asking a judge to release all the grand jury testimony. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I'm guessing that we're not going to get any new information about any of this. And it will be interesting to see if Trump's followers forgive him or not. But I could be wrong. If you think I am, let me know. Let me know why. I had fun and I hope you did too. Bye-bye.
It's the wrong podcast.